Hello everyone, welcome back to another Smart Money Sundays. Now, without further ado, let's just jump right into the DXY. Okay, now again, this is drawings are from last week. Not really changed anything. Now, again, I highlighted two scenarios for the DXY. Now, what we've got is even a better scenario. So, what I was looking for is either a sweep of this low or price hold this key level, and then we start seeing a resurgence back into the range highs of 101. Now what we've actually seen is a 3 point drive, 1, 2, 3, which is absolutely perfect. Now what I'm basically looking for, I'll leave this here, is, let me just get rid of this, is price to actually hold this level, because we've seen a retest of the monthly, again creating this sort of liquidity pocket here. So now what I'm looking for, again, this actually looks good to enter now, but it's outside. It's currently 5:43, so it's currently outside my trading session. So what I'm currently will be looking for is price to grind up above the weekly, come into London Open, and I'll enter USD longs. Now this is not tradable, of course, but what I'll be entering is a few of the positions I'm actually going to highlight momentarily. Now, before I actually go over the positions, I'm going to quickly just go over the economic calendar. So this week we do have some news, some high impact news. So if I just filter this, so it's just a bit easier to illustrate what we actually want to be looking for. Now, today we had some employment news for GBP, but tomorrow is where the main the main move will occur. So tomorrow we have at 1:30 we'll have CPI news, which is where we're going to see big large chunk moves actually occur. So tonight or tomorrow morning is where I'm going to be actually looking for a lot of my positions. If I don't find the entries I'm looking for, I'm going to wait until after CPI is cleared. And again, if nothing goes to plan, if I don't get any of my triggers, then I'll just wait till Thursday where we have some news as well. But this is actually where I have conviction. Okay, I do have conviction in the dollar actually rising into the $100 region into this week. So this is my conviction play for this week. My gears will be a bit more focused to FX this week. Now, again, this is all from last week's drawings. If you haven't, I recommend you go watch last week's video where I highlight a lot of these moves. So what I'm now looking for is price to actually, I don't think we're going to come down and swipe this low, mainly because the DXY looks to be holding strong. So this is the move that I'm liking, because price is actually grinding up into the weekly and monthly open. So I'm looking for price to actually come up and then retest this level into London Open, because remember, timing is very, very important for triggers, for my system at least. Again, trade your system how you see fit, but this is where I'll be looking for triggers into 82 level. Invalidation will be obviously below these lows, where I'll be looking for price to grind up into these highs. First target will be this key level, and second target will be the swing highs at 84. Again, depending on the trigger, I will actually tighten my stop loss depending on the trigger I do get. Okay, but this is more of a swing position. Okay, I'd ideally like to see this level hold, a push up, and then a slow compression on lower time frames coming into CPI, then look for longs. Okay, simple, very, very simple, no need to overcomplicate. Okay, I'm sticking to the plan here. Now, EURUSD, again, all things I've highlighted last week. We had a liquidity pocket here. I was looking for price to come out and take out this liquidity. That's exactly what happened. We took out this high as I illustrated. This POI was down here, I believe. I just refined it. It's the only thing I've changed, but everything else is still the same. Now price has gone again to plan. We've taken out liquidity, taken out the previous high. If I get rid of this, all right, and then we saw a resurgence, a push back down below, and a hold of this level, showing clear weakness across the board. Again, coming into London tomorrow, be looking for short triggers to basically come and target the 1.116 level. Why? Because we have a clear gap on EU, which I expect to come and get filled. Okay, so this is where I'll also be looking for some EU shorts or USD CHF triggers. Whichever one gives me trigger, I'll enter first. If both will give me trigger, I will enter both of them. Again, all my triggers and entries are shared live in time with members, but this is sort of my analysis play by play and what I'm looking for execution wise coming into tomorrow. Again, if I don't get the trigger I'm looking for, then I'll just wait, sit on my hands, okay? I'm not going to force anything, but this is looking, this is where I have conviction, okay? Now let's push over to gold very, very quickly. I've not been actually trading gold, but what I'm going to highlight is very, very simple, right? Gold is in price discovery, and what we've basically seen is reoccurring here, right? Price made a new high, higher low. We came into previous structure, swiped the low, and then made a new high, right? Higher high, higher low. Came into previous structure, took the low before making a new higher high. Same situation here. Higher high, price came back into previous structure, took out this liquidity, and then now I'm looking for price to actually come out and make a new higher high eventually. Okay, so that same sort of fractal we're seeing reoccur, okay, here. Now again, similar with the strength on dollar, I'm not really looking to trade gold, but in terms of what I'm looking for is price to come back into 32.70 level, okay, potentially even swipe this low here, okay, but ideally this level hold, and then a reclaim of the monthly to long into highs here, okay, very simple, no need to overcomplicate the process, but structure here looks clean, and this is what I'm looking to trade in gold if it sets up this week. Okay, now let's push over to Bitcoin or crypto side of things. Now again, if you recall, I actually did get rid of some of the drawing, but if you recall from last week's video, if I just fast forward a little bit, let me just fast forward. Okay, so you can see what I was actually looking for price for confirmation at this low. I was actually in a long from this level. If I just go back here, just for transparency's sake, I want to highlight this. Right, was in longs here, took some profit at the weekly, and then got the rest stopped out at break even before price ended up obviously coming down below here. Okay, now this was absolutely what I was looking for. A spike came to take out these lows, as I highlighted last week before we saw that big push up. Now unfortunately I did miss this move as I was away from charts. Okay, I have been traveling recently, so that was really, really annoying, but it's good to see that analysis actually play out before we saw that resurgence, reclaim of this range, and then extended push up. Now I was actually looking to see if there was any rejection from this level at 108. Again, price gave no weakness whatsoever from this level, and we just ended up pushing up into 110 level where we now reside, right, which is actually a key level here. Now in terms of what I'm looking for in terms of BTC is I am actually looking to see some sort of two scenarios, right, where we bounce from this level, either we take out this high, okay, and then we just sort of reclaim the daily open, and then that should give good shorts back into 105 K level, right? Again, depending on how PA is, this is something what I'd basically be looking for, something a bit more distributed, mainly because of the strength in DXY. Okay, but again, it's summer market, so I'm expecting more range than breakout. Okay, at least when it comes to BTC. But that's sort of my main idea for what I think will actually happen. Now, second scenario is we actually just drop from here. We come into this level from now, and then we can start looking for price to hold this level to look for longs. Okay, that's sort of the idea I have for BTC. But again, I'm not very bullish at these range highs. Okay, but yeah, that's sort of the idea I have for Bitcoin. Now, ETH, again, I recommend you go watch the last week's video, but I was looking for price to come into this level, a little higher into 2.6 before we saw rejection, which is what we saw. Price front ran the area by a few pips, but $2,600 level held. Okay, and then we saw that push down before we actually now come up to taking out this high. All right, which shows clear intent in terms of range, because we're still pretty much in a range here. Okay, range highs, range lows. So what I'm now currently looking for on ETH is price again to do something similar to Bitcoin, where it just swipes the high and then we sort of reclaim the range and we start trading back into range lows. Just expecting a bit more of a range choppy scenario. However, if we don't see that scenario, what I'm looking for is price to actually slowly, slowly basically show some slow compression, a bit of slow grind, where come back into 2630 region, where I can start looking for potential longs into the 3K region, okay, where it was my high time frame scenario, okay, sorry, high time frame pocket. We also have a gap here as well, which I'm expecting to get filled sometime in the near future. So this is sort of the scenario. Now for longs, this is the scenario I want to see, okay, because if we see this scenario, it will offer a very, very nice plethora of setups that will milk a fuck ton of money out of on altcoins, basically, okay. But that's sort of the scenario you want to be seeing if you are long on altcoins currently, okay. But that's what my game plan is, right? But however, if we swipe first now, coming into CPI and then a reclaim of this range, then I'm bearish to back into $2,500 region. Either scenario is very, very much possible, so I'm not much conviction leads on either one side for now. I'd rather wait to let PA become a little more clear, okay. But yeah, that's all the scenario. Now again, same drawings from last week. Now what we end up seeing is price come into $140 region first before we saw that push up into that key level. This actually offered a nice rejection and a nice lower time frame scalp on the 15-minute, I believe. Price end up coming up, SFP'd the high here, and then had a reclaim of the daily. Once price reclaimed the daily level after SFPing these two highs, your setup would have been very clear. Invalidation high, and then target would have been the monthly open, which is what we're seeing now, okay. Now this could still very much come lower, okay, but what I'm currently want to be looking for on Solana is if this monthly level holds. If it does, we'll likely see a price come back, retest 160, potentially take out this high at 163. However, if not, if we see like a smaller bounce and then fails to hold, right, we see another attack of the monthly low, then we'll likely see a rotation back into the 146 level, right? Just basically retest those range lows, basically, okay. So that's sort of the idea I have for this week. Now again, I'm not going to go over altcoin because that is mainly for members, but if you guys did seek out any value from this, please do like and comment. It helps me keep these videos consistently uploaded for you guys. But yeah, with all that said and done, I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.